Okay, guys, I have a little bit of an interesting topic to discuss. I think I think a good kind of topic would be like how to kind of in your own way discover if you like a film or not, because I feel like there's so many different criteria of what makes a good film, and there's no one answer. There's no one. What makes a good film good? It's what because films are experiential events. So if something bad happens to you and then you go watch a film, like let's say you know, well, we're sick and then watched a film. Maybe you would hate the film because at that moment you feel so sick, or maybe something bad happened to your life and then you watch a film. You might not like the film you're watching because of the state you're in. And I think that's happened to me a bunch of times where I just am not in a good mood, watch a film, and I don't like that film because films are experiential events. Sometimes you're so happy you watch a bad film, but you still love it because of your happy mood. So I think there's so many different ways. Because again, you don't determine whether you like a film or not. You discover that. You can't manufacture if you like a film or not. You just do. And it's totally reasonable to say it's totally fair to be in a negative mindset, then go watch a film and then not like it. Because again, it's experiential events. And so if you're watching it at a bad place in your life, then obviously you might not like it. And sometimes I like, and that goes to show, like, sometimes as a kid you like different films that maybe as older you see kiddish or whatnot. So it's all experiential events of how you experience a film at that place and time. And I think films transcend everything. Because I think there's so many different things people love. Like people like music, sports. Usually the big three things are music, sports, and movies. But I feel like movies transcend all of that. And while there's more sports fans than I think diehard movie fans, but I don't think there's more music fans than movie fans. But I can go up to someone and say, "What's your favorite sports team?" They can't name their favorite sports team or any sports team that they really root for, that it was their choice, or that beyond. Sometimes everybody has like their team that maybe their parents love or something, but that they actually love. But if I guarantee you, 95% of the people on planet Earth, if I go to someone and say, "What's your film?" What's your again film? Because while they might not be a movie fan, they might not really like films, they might not see a lot of films, but everybody has their film, and that's what I think makes sets movies different from sports and different from music. If you say, "Oh, do you like any songs?" I'll be like, "No, I don't like any songs. I don't watch any songs." But there's no one that I say, "Oh, I don't watch any movies. I haven't seen any movies. I don't like any movies," and whatnot. Nobody's like that. I think everybody, whether it just be one film or a collection of films, everybody has their film. Everybody has their film that they go to, whether it just be one film, a collection of films. Maybe you don't like any films, but there's one film that stands out to you because of that experience when you watched it. Because let's not pretend there's tons of people that don't like movies. There are tons of people that aren't movie fans. But I guarantee you, there are a group of them that love one movie, or cherish one movie, or remember one time they were in the movies. And I think that's what sets it apart, was where it's like a lot of people are sports fans. I think more, there's more, diehard sports fans than there are diehard movie fans. I will admit that. But I do believe everybody has their movie that they go back on, that they revisit, that they love. But I guarantee you, if I go to, even just like a bunch of people I even know, and I say, "What's your favorite sports team?" College, whatever, football, basketball, soccer, whatever. They might not be able to name them because I'm not big on sports. I don't really, follow sports. But that sets it apart from a movie. They might not know directors or actors or maybe even the name of the movie, but they have their movie. And I think that's what makes, I feel like, for me, movies so special, is that it transcends every other hobby, every other potential thing, because everybody has their movie, everybody has their show, and that's just not the case with sports, where it's like, yes, I will admit, there's probably more diehard sports fans and more sports fans than probably movie fans, but I think there's some overlap. That's another thing. I think there's some overlap between sports fans and movie fans and music fans. But I think everybody has their movie. I do not think every single person, or not every single person, the majority. I think the majority of people, like, probably like music. I'm in the minority, but we're not. So that's kind of my thought process. That's why I love movies so much, is because it's like, what I love about it is part of it, just how it transcends everything, because of how everybody has their movie, and that's what makes it such a universally loved thing. But anyway, so how the criteria of making a good movie? There's a few different things on that level, but for me, the biggest one that comes to mind is, did it give you did you enjoy the experience? Because they're experiencing fans. Did you enjoy if the film's 2 hours long? Did you have a great time or a good time? We're not talking about necessarily great films, but a good film. Did you have a good, decent time for those 2 hours? That's one thing. Number two, did you learn something or get something out of it? Because yes, like for example, there are some sad movies. There's so many great films that people would go watch and then say, I can never watch that film again. It's too sad. So yes, did you have a good time watching it? Maybe not. So that part two is, did you learn something from it? Because let's say Endgame, I'm watching and I have a great time with it. But if I were to watch Saving Private Ryan, or a sad movie or not, or this is probably the saddest movie I've seen. Probably there's 100 more sadder movies, but not. But you can watch a sad movie, and yes, you might not enjoy it, but did you learn something from it? If you're watching a film that is sad or is meant to be something like that, because some films maybe not necessarily are meant. It's also, what do you expect? Did you get what you wanted from a certain film? And if it wasn't what you wanted, did the surprises entertain you just as much as the potential you had going into the film? I think that's another thing. So it's like, again, were you entertained and felt enjoyment if the film's, let's say, 2 hours 30 minutes long? For 2 hours and 30 minutes, did you feel entertained? If it was a sad movie or a heartbreaking movie, or a movie that was trying to teach you a lesson or something like that, did you take something out of the movie? Did you, whether it be enjoyment or whether it be a life lesson or whether it be a moral compass or a moral, code, or whether it be a message, or did you learn something from it? If it was, and then number two, did it change your life? I think was another thing. Because I think there's some movies that you can be indifferent to, that you're just watching, like, it's 2 hours long, it's a movie, who cares? But I think sometimes films, you could watch a film, because some of my favorite films changed me for who I am, or not for who I am, but changed me as a film fan. Because it's like, when I watched Star Wars the first time, that's when I became a film fan. But again, if you were to look at, how did a Joker, or how did a Logan, or how did a Return of the King, or an Aliens, or a Terminator, or a Shawshank, or a Forrest Gump change me as a film fan, that just goes to show part of the great experiential things that I think you experience. And I think that's another great thing to bring up, is were you entertained? I think that's the biggest thing. Were you entertained? And I think some films that might not be the pop, might not be like the big action, a big comedy, but if it's if it's based on a story and based on a big topic, sometimes you don't get entertained, like, oh my god, I'm so excited, I'm so entertained, this is so fun, but entertained intellectually, entertain your mind. And that's why I think entertaining and entertainment don't just mean, um, did you watch a Fast and the Furious epic stunt film? Or did you watch Mad Max Fury Road, where it's like bombs and explosions? But did you entertain your mind? Like a film like more like, a Shawshank. Did you entertain your mind in a positive? Because entertaining is such a broad word. Because I think you can entertain your mind in unique ways. Because I think when you watch a film like Inception that's so complex, it's so fun to watch. Even though it's so complex, because you're entertaining your mind. You're exploring your mind, and I think you're learning something from your mind. And so did you entertain, was it entertaining on multiple levels? Or, because like I could say, did it entertain you? And then you might watch a film that you might realize, it's not a Fast and Furious film, it's not an Endgame film, or an MCU film. But I was entertained. How like a Castaway film. Where it's like, it's just, Tom Hanks on an island. But what I think could be transcendent of it, and what makes it entertaining, is how you react to it. And I think, again, coming to this idea of what's the criteria of a good film, like, that very much varies, Because I think, again, they're experiential events. Because you might watch a film, like a Star Wars film, but it be at a horrible place in your life. Because of that event, you might not like Star Wars. And I think that doesn't create excuses for why you don't like Star Wars or don't like any, film. Because it's not an excuse. That's just the place and the time in your life that you watched a film. And that's just your experience. And I think you don't get two chances to make a first impression. And that goes for movies, even though you could rewatch movies or whatnot. But I think even when you rewatch, like, let's say you watch, Forrest Gump. That just came to my mind. You watch Forrest Gump at a bad place in your time, or, something sad happened to your life or whatnot. You might hate Forrest Gump. But even if you try to rewatch the film, you're never going to forget the first experience. There's no two chances to make a first impression. But that's just part of the experience of watching films, is this experiential events. You don't determine if you like a film, you discover that. And so I think that's the thing about determining, in conclusion, if you want to discover if you like a film or not, there's no one way to answer that. Because you might not like a film that doesn't teach you something. You might not like a film that doesn't seem exciting. Or you don't want to watch a film that's just trying to teach you a lesson. Or you don't want to watch a film that's sad. It's personal taste. I think that's the thing. As me, I'm a film fan on all levels. If it's just a great story and can give you... Because, like, I think that's not... Is there's a difference between being disappointed and not liking a film. Because you can say you thought this film was good, but maybe you're disappointed because there's two ways to be disappointed. You could be disappointed by it not giving you what you want, or you could be disappointed because it wasn't on the quality of what you want. There's one of, like, did the story give you what you want? And then there's another thing of the quality of the film. Was it where you thought you were at? And I think a good example for me is Last Jedi. Where it's like I guess the quality, I think, like, here's that, not for me per se, but, like, as a Star Wars fan base. I might be in the minority or majority, I don't know. But you see this example of, like, The Last Jedi, where so many people were disappointed due to story. And then I feel like the thing is about the people, the thing about The Last Jedi is why it's so split, is, like, even on the people who hated the film, even that split. Because I feel like some people hate it because they subverted expectations with story-wise. And then some people just don't like it because they feel like it's just a bad film. And then some people think it's a bad Star Wars film, good film, or a good sci-fi film or whatnot. And some people think it's just bad. Some people think it's, a good Star Wars film, but a bad film, or, so... And then on the good, people like it, it's a good Star Wars film, or a good space, or so it comes down to, I think that's another thing. I'm not gonna say did it give you what you want. Some films don't give you what you want. So what I to that I say is did it give you what you want? If not, if it did subvert your expectations, did it do that in just as much or more of an entertaining way that it would have if it gave you exactly what you thought going into the film? And so, for example, for Last Jedi, they subverted my expectations. Sure, obviously. But I think in somewhat of a good way, I think, for me. But, I think, so again, to recap, the criteria that I suggest using to find a good film is, there's probably a few different things, and not all of them all in the same film. It depends on the type of film you're watching. So for an action film, again, if it's depending on the genre or not. But anyways, did it give you what you want? If it didn't give you what you want and it subverted your expectations or what you thought the film would be, did it do that in a good way? Were you entertained? Let's say it's a more story-based film. Did it entertain your mind? Did you really have to think? Was there a payoff to the film? Then if it was more of a sad, more dramatic film, or did it teach you something? Were you engaged with the story? If it was more intellectual and more, dramatic, did you care for the characters? And did you think the performance was good? Then if it was more historically based, did it teach you something? Did it teach you a lesson? Did it teach you a message? Did it teach you something? Did you take something out of the film? Whether it be, oh, this actor was good. Or, wow, that's what it was like during the Civil War. Or, wow, that's how they created crayons. Or, wow, that's what it would have been like to be stuck on an island. Or, wow, that's how hard some people fight for their freedom. Or, wow, that's what the Scottish did against the, English. Or, wow, I can't believe these mafia people exist. Or, wow, I can't believe this and that and that. So were you amazed or shocked or surprised? So to that I say, what do you want from your ideal film? What do you want from different genres of films? If you want an action film and you just want straight up action, that's some films might deliver it more than others. If you want a dramatic sad film, some films might deliver that more than others. So it depends on each person's want and needs, and if it did subvert your expectations, did it do that in a positive, good, great way, whatever. So anyways, that was a quick kind of it's not quick. It's 17 minutes long, but anyways, I think those are kind of my criterias for what makes a good film or great film or whatever. But every single person is different, and I'm just saying different rabbit holes you could go down depending on again the different types of films you do enjoy and want to see. Stay tuned for more videos coming at you.